This video is not sponsored by GoPro or DJI. The GoPro Hero 11 Black versus the DJI Osmo Action 3. Which of these is the best action camera of 2023? In this comparison video, I'll break down the top 5 features that I think set these action cameras apart to help you figure out which one is best for you. We'll be talking about video quality, usability features, sound quality, bugs or problems, and price. Now before I dig into details, I want to start by explaining that my channel is all about compact camera gear that I use to make travel vlogs and client videos. I use action cameras primarily to make travel vlogs. I think that they're the perfect small, discreet size, and they make super high quality videos. You can check out my travel vlogging channel, Gemini Discover, to see the type of travel videos that I make. All of these videos on that channel were filmed mostly with action cameras. Now, in case you don't know anything at all about these cameras, both the Hero 11 and the Action 3 were announced in September 2022. They're both rugged, waterproof action cameras that don't require any additional cage or housing unless you exceed the recommended underwater depth. Alright, on to the comparisons. Let's start with video quality. Now in my opinion, this is the main strength that the GoPro has over the DJI. The Hero 11 Black can shoot it up to 5.3K 60 frames per second, and it has a new 8:7 aspect ratio that gives you the flexibility to make your final video either horizontal or vertical. Meanwhile, the Action 3 is capped at 4K 60 frames per second with no special aspect ratio, so no 5K for the DJI. For slow motion, both cameras can shoot in up to 4K 120 frames per second. But if you want ultra slow motion at 240 frames per second, GoPro again offers a higher resolution at 2.7K, while DJI only offers super slow-mo in 1080p. However, DJI does offer HDR video in 4K, and with all forms of built-in stabilization, while GoPro does not have any HDR video. When it comes to low light performance, the DJI is actually quite good. It's surprisingly better at exposure than the GoPro. With that said, action cameras still are not optimal for using in low light, so I don't recommend doing it unless you really have to, but if you do, then the DJI is actually the winner here. Both cameras can also shoot in 10-bit color and in flat or log profiles, which gives you more flexibility when you want to color grade in post-production. GoPro does let you shoot in either vibrant or natural color, while DJI only has one color profile aside from flat. But a lot of folks actually prefer the DJI colors because they appear more natural, but the color preference is really based on your own personal choice. Now, related to video quality, we gotta discuss the focus. So I've made quite a few videos about the DJI Action 3 since it first came out. It's been a journey, so you can check out my full playlist below to see the progression. But in summary, I bought it when it first came out and noticed that it had a focus issue, so I returned it. Fast forward a couple months and I decided to try the Action 3 again because I'd heard that a newer batch of cameras may have fixed the focus issue alongside of a new firmware update that was addressing the clarity. So my latest Action 3 video has more comparisons, but in short, I think that the focus on the Action 3 has been largely improved enough to suit my needs, especially given the extra usability features, which I'll talk about next. But those features, I think, make the Action 3 an easier camera to use. But GoPro still has overall sharper focus. So the Action 3 might not have the top resolution specs and the focus may be a little soft. However, I think that the new usability features that came with it make it a viable GoPro competitor. Now the first one is the front-facing touchscreen. You can change your modes or your settings without flipping the camera around, which is something you can't do in a GoPro. Second is the magnetic quick release system, which now comes with the Action 3. So you don't have to fiddle with the GoPro thumb screws every time you want to change a mount or invest in a third-party quick release system. It's super handy if you're someone like me who changes your mounts often as you're filming. The DJI finger mounts are also more rigid and keep the camera more level, versus the GoPro feet, which flip down from the bottom of the camera but don't lock into place, so the camera is often slightly lopsided. The Action 3 also comes with an optional cage that lets you use the magnetic mount to position the camera vertically so you can get your TikTok or Instagram reel shots. There's no official GoPro cage that lets you do this, which is kind of mind-blowing given how many more people are wanting to shoot vertical video these days. And the third usability feature for the Action 3 is that you can now add a USB-C microphone to the Action 3 without buying a separate mic adapter. Since I vlog with action cameras, this is a big deal for me because I almost always use an external microphone. However, the sound comparison between these two cameras is big enough that it deserves its own section. So both the GoPro and the DJI have built-in microphones and wind reduction settings, and I think that they sound decently good by themselves. I swear this is like the best view in Park City. I just love this little area. However, like I said, I like to vlog with these cameras, so I'm a stickler for sound, so I like to add my own external microphone. So testing out some built-in microphones for both cameras, trying to see what the front-facing microphone sounds like. Now, both of these cameras are also lacking 3.5mm microphone jacks, and you cannot use a USB-C microphone with the GoPro, while you can do that with the DJI. However, GoPro does offer the Media Mod for an additional purchase, which has its own enhanced built-in microphone that you can use, plus it has a micro HDMI port and a 3.5mm microphone jack, and cold shoe mounts for adding your own microphone or accessories of choice. Now, when it comes to the Action 3, you can use your own USB-C microphone without using an adapter. But this setup is really optimized for using the DJI wireless microphone system. So if you already have one, then that's great. But if you want to use really any other microphone system, then you'll have to buy a third-party cage that has cold shoe mounts, because the DJI cage doesn't have one. And if you use a microphone with a 3.5mm connection, then you're out of luck, because from what I can tell, there isn't a 3.5mm microphone adapter for the Action 3 that's made by DJI. Next, let's talk about the bugs or problems with the cameras. So I've been using both the Hero 11 Black and the DJI Action 3 for several months now, and I haven't had any issues with them. Now, that's no surprise with the DJI, but it is a surprise with the GoPro, because I've bought every single GoPro since the Hero 7 Black, and this is the first camera I've had from them that doesn't have any freezing bugs. And I think it's largely because they finally upgraded the processor in the Hero 10, and the Hero 11 finally got a new sensor, so everything is finally working like it should. I also haven't had any overheating problems with either of these cameras, but I do live in the Pacific Northwest where heat is not a concern, and I've never had any overheating problems with any of the 9 action cameras that I've owned, so overheating has never been an issue for me. The next comparison point is price. Now, the Action 3 is the cheapest at $329 US with no strings attached. Meanwhile, the Hero 11 Black has always been more expensive. It was originally $550 US when it first came out, but currently you can get it for $350 US from the GoPro website, which includes a 1-year GoPro subscription, which renews for $50 every year. Now, some people don't like the idea of being tied to an annual subscription, which I totally get, but there are several big advantages to having this subscription, and the first is a discount on future GoPro purchases and any other official GoPro accessories like batteries or mounts. You can also get up to 2 camera replacements, no questions asked. And finally, this to me is the biggest incentive, you get an unlimited cloud backup at 100% quality. And if you aren't already backing up your photos to the cloud, then you really should start, because it's one of the best ways to make sure that you don't lose your footage. The Hero 11 even has an auto upload feature to make sure that it's automatically uploaded to the cloud. So the GoPro Cloud, in my opinion, is a pretty big incentive. But it does have a bit of a risk, because GoPro could increase this price at any time, and if you commit to putting all of your footage on the cloud as a backup, then you're kind of tied to their cloud system for life, or until you want to stop paying for it. But even if you don't use the GoPro Cloud for your cloud storage, you should still use something, and the GoPro price is among the lowest that I've seen out there for cloud storage. And as far as I know, DJI doesn't offer a cloud storage option. So this was not a super in-depth comparison video, but in my opinion, these are the top features that I think are the most important to help you figure out which action camera is best for you. So what's the conclusion? Well, if you need the highest video resolution and the most flexible external microphone setup and unlimited cloud storage, then GoPro is the way to go. However, if budget is a concern, you don't need 5K video, you intend to use the DJI microphone exclusively, if you're going to use an external microphone at all, and you prefer things like having that front-facing touchscreen and the magnetic quick release, then the DJI is the way to go. So personally, I own both cameras and I'm kind of flipping between the two because as you can see, like there's incentive to go with one over the other. It's really not a clear-cut decision. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below, which of these two cameras, if any, you prefer to use as your action camera. Let me know. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.